One.
Welcome back. Here we are. Boy, we have a special session today. It's kind of out of whack for me, but as you can see, we have three very special gentlemen that are in Tampa, Florida. It's a Tuesday. We're going to get through the post Walters Ask Us Anything as quickly as we can, but they are over at Twain and looking forward to a great show out there. I guess it's cold, but before we jump into the copier world, how's it going, guys? What's up? How's the show looking? Did anything fall apart?
It's freezing cold in Florida, if you can believe it. Iguanas are falling out of the trees.
I know.
None of us got hit yet.
Well, I saw last night on the news that some lady heard it fall and did have to move out of the way of an iguana. So it's real. It really, I mean, the warning went out maybe this weekend.
Right.
Iguanas.
So I'll give a short intro. This is Kevin behind me. And we have Dion all the way from South Africa joining us in Tampa. So he's traveled a long way for the Twain Convert show.
Yeah, show's going to be great. He flew all the way and his arms are killing him. Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see you guys all on one roof. So, well, I don't really know if we need to do any updates on the copier industry, except for maybe some updates on what you guys are looking forward to over there at the conference. I mean, crickets is a big deal, but the protocols, the whatever, the Twain things that Twain does, but having Dion here from South Africa to check out what the robot in front of you. I mean, this is some cutting edge stuff, guys. What are you looking forward to seeing here at the show? We've been talking about it since June and July, but here it is.
Dion?
Well, yeah, it's a great honor to be here in Tampa, having a conversation about the robots standing right here in front of us, and AI, and where the world is actually taking us. It's cold, but it's also not that cold. So I don't have my fleece or my jacket on. So, but I'm looking forward to this afternoon, and of course, everybody contributing to where we are heading in this mad world and AI, and what robotics will bring us in the future.
Cool. Yeah. Excellent. Well, it's good to see. It's great to have you all the way over here. And hey, are you going to stick around for a little bit? Are you I don't know. What's your travel plans after the show? You heading right back to South Africa? Or are you going to pal around? Or do we know probably because of the airline snafus that might put it.
Well, depending on the flights,
Yeah.
I'm joining Art to his house in New Jersey, so I will stay a weekend with him. You know what? It was quite interesting walking into him. What was it, last night, Art?
Last night, yeah.
Last night, you know, we are internet friends for the past, 22 years.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, here's this guy in the passage, and yeah, to see each other in person and have a bourbon on top of that, that was quite great. You know, it's the distance is always a problem, but to be here in person with these great guys next to me and behind me, and you, Greg, we miss you because I would have loved to meet you in person as well. So, but I think we will get another chance.
Oh, I'm sure we will. That's very good. Very nice points. Yeah, New Jersey with Art. I don't think it get any better.
No, it's going to be interesting.
I love it.
Have to see New York City from a distance.
It's a beautiful view, though, I'll bet. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Very cool. That's cool.
So, Kevin, how about you?
Yeah, Kev, what are you looking for?
I think, honestly, this year, this is our third year doing this event. And in the past, it's been so focused on single function scanner devices, because that's our history as the Twain Working Group. So this year is drastically different, bringing robots and AI. And I'm so encouraged because, a couple people arrived yesterday and today, and already the connections, like Dion's already, there are people that he didn't know are already talking about using robotics with their software applications, for example, or using the natural language AI agents in their application. So I'm already seeing these organic kind of connections coming about, and the conference hasn't even started yet. So, and that's what it's all about. Is sure there's a lot of technology here, but to make relationships and get tangible business from this event is really wonderful. The robots have been a hit so far. They're definitely getting attention. And people get it, it's not confusing about what we're doing and trying to standardize a communicate, what do you say, Greg? The communication protocol to end all protocols?
The protocol to end all protocols. Yes, that's
There we go.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a big, hairy, audacious kind of dream, but it's developing. So I look forward to a great week with these guys.
It'd be excellent.
Yeah,
Art,
I'm
what do you
looking
think?
forward to choking on my demonstration tomorrow.
Excellent.
Some of the best laid plans of mice and men. And sometimes I just sit there and think, okay, what could go wrong? What will go wrong? But I'm going to keep a positive out frame on it, meet quite a few new people. And I've already had some interesting discussions about AI, robotics. Even this morning's lunch was pretty interesting.
Cool.
Speaking with, what was that, Harvey?
Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking with Harvey and speaking with Dion, and then speaking with Dan. Dan's just got incredible stuff he's working on.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Um, this, you know, to echo what Kevin just said, or you guys all said it actually, is that yes, the sessions are important. All right. The glue is between the sessions. The glue is after the sessions. The glue is before. That's when I learned all the stuff. I mean, I hate to say, even at a bar, right? Just conversations that you're having off, quote unquote, offline are the really valuable ones. So that sounds great. Well, for me personally, so have you done much with the robot yet? I mean, I know you're just setting up, but how's it look?
Haven't done anything, well, personally,
Okay.
I haven't done anything with the robot yet. That doesn't mean Kevin hasn't done anything. We've got the MFP that's here from Caton. So
Oh,
I
gotcha,
unwrapped
yeah.
that machine yesterday. We're hoping Lou's going to be here from Caton shortly, and we'll finish setting that up. But I know Kevin showed me a few things on the Crickets robot. Um,
Can
Kevin,
you lift
have
it
you
up?
done
Can you
anything?
yeah, can you give us like a little tour of the actual physical device? Maybe show the wheels. Is that I know is it too heavy to lift up or too awkward? Oh,
So
it autofocused
this
on
has got an
Dion.
arm over here. So it's got an
Get it,
arm that moves up and it
Hold
can
on.
get it
pivot.
into center camera. It automatically focuses on Dion, the human face.
It's got a camera up here so it could detect
Okay.
colors.
All right.
It's got an arm that can pick up stuff and move stuff around, and it can rotate
Move a little to your left, Kevin.
270.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So and is that a panel, a user panel I
It's
see on
got
the
a
back?
7-inch touchscreen back here. Yeah. Yeah. So in one of the use cases was talking about this robot going up to a machine and then instructing the technician on how to fix it by pulling up a schematic
Mm-hmm.
on that screen or have some information on the screen. We've also talked about using that screen for things like doing the HR onboarding and given maybe the
Right.
status of you've completed 4 courses and you need to take the 5th one. So some simple interaction with the screen using voice control. So
Sure.
it's got LiDAR. This is the LiDAR um,
Oh, that's the spinner thing down
mechanism.
there. Okay.
Yeah. It's got
All
a
right.
NVIDIA board here, back here. So you could put a natural
Okay.
language system on the robot, or you can connect to a natural language in the cloud, like on Google or ChatGPT. So it's basically a server, and it's got robotic control and software and SDKs to control the arm and control the
Okay.
movement.
So in the demo, in the sandbox, that claw, right? Is that what yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that claw will pick up an item that resembles a staple cartridge or something like that. And it will recognize what it's looking at.
Yep.
Am I being too crude? But is that how that works?
Yeah, it could detect things. It could do color detection, so you could put a color dot on
Okay.
there, or a
Okay.
barcode, like a QR code, or it can actually detect objects without colors or barcodes. So you have to train it a little bit, but
Right. But
it connects to the cloud and can do object detection.
wow. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It
put
does
this
look.
down now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yes.
We got two
Wow.
people in the waiting room.
Oh,
And
bring them in.
Greg, this is a kit. I mean, it's not inexpensive, but it's also not too expensive. And the whole idea was this is a prototype, right? So
Right.
this resembles kind of the framework for more sophisticated robots. I mean, at the end of the day, that's probably what you would really use with more, a hand that's got more agility.
Right. Right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because as I'm watching you demo or at least explain it to us, that is what we call what a kit robot. I mean, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
easily available. It's for very good for a POC. And to be very upfront, from what we've learned about these more quote unquote office ready warehouse robots and AMRs and things, it's it's only more robust than this particular device. The logic, the NVIDIA, the cameras, the LiDAR, all that, even the panel, right? That's on these more industrial, quote unquote, uh AMR robots, right? So it's the same basic thing, only what we're doing in crickets, because we're seeing it all now, is it's I'm not taking anything away from the OEMs that are manufacturing office ready robots. It's the same principle. It's the same kinetic connections on this device as it is in like one of our quasis or the Rich Tech Titan that carries tires around the back of a auto bay. It has lidar. It has three-dimensional cameras. It does not have an arm, right? But it has a heavy payload. But the basic building blocks are right there in front of you. But it just extends out is more robust. So I mean, I think of kits back when you're a kid, right? And you have, I don't know, whatever it was, chemistry kit.
Erector
So
sets.
erector sets. Yeah, that's almost pretty. An erector
Motors.
set you would model in your head and have wheels, and there's a little electric motor with batteries, and you connect all that up. But those principles may have applied in a very micro arena in the real world, but not like this, right? We can take it, and everything that's there is now in real world office automation devices. So when people
Greg,
get a
that's an
look at
important
that,
point because
yeah,
coming from the copier and the scanner industry, usually those ecosystems are pretty close. In other words, if you have a Ricoh, then you have to get the Ricoh version of it, and you have to go get the Xerox version of it, and the Panasonic version of it. What I'm finding in the robotics industry is that it's a very common software stack. So it's usually an Ubuntu operating system, and then something called ROS, a robotic operating system. And then they do have some kind of SDK that you can program it. But the whole point is that the robotics manufacturers that we've been talking to are very open to integrations. They love openness. They love open source software. They love standards. And they talk about it. They need to have software applications that run on these robots and run with other manufacturers too. It's maybe one robot manufacturer has a humanoid and one has an arm and one has a cart, right? And those aren't all put together at this point, right? So you have the cart talking to the arm, that the arm can then load the cart, and then the humanoid can do something else, right? So you can imagine all that collaboration and having a common standard to communicate to all those different types of robots and different manufacturers and whatnot, then provides a complete ecosystem.
yeah, this is fascinating. And again, this is pie. It's not really pie in the sky. It isn't decades away. Like everything else that's come on in the last 24 months with robotics and AI, nothing is a decade away, it seems. Or everything that we thought was a decade away was only 6 months away. So very interesting. That's cool. That's cool.
Moving quickly, Greg.
Yep. Yeah. Excellent. Um,
So otherwise, we start at basically we have the one podcast today at 11. It's ongoing now. We'll probably run about 30 minutes with this one, and we're going to
Yeah.
break for lunch. Then after lunch, you and I are going to come back, and we're going to talk about Celeste, which is our AI. Help me out with that. AI,
it is your
Last
personal
trainer.
sales trainer.
correct.
We'll put it that way. Yeah. built around OpenAI. Let's put it at that point, because
Correct.
yeah. But she
So then
will
at
answer
3 o'clock,
questions.
what do we got going on at 3 o'clock, Kevin?
We have a analyst panel. So we're gonna be talking about research on AI and research on robotics and things, they've done studies and surveys and all this kind of stuff to validate market with real numbers. So looking forward, and we have some big thinkers like Nathaniel Palmer from InfoCap and Chris Surdak from Surdak, John Hoy from TokenX. So a lot of industry people, Harvey Spencer. So we've got the who's who of kind of the imaging industry over here to talk about futuristic kind of things.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Art and guys, so you mentioned the Caton copier. Tell everyone how that fits into this whole conglomeration in the demo and stuff.
Yeah, so our proof of concept is pretty simple. We were going to have our robot in front of us, and we're going to give the robot commands to in the space out in the event floor. We're going to have the copier over on one side. We're going to have our supplies in another area of the room. And we're going to tell the robot to go get a staple cartridge, bring it to the copy machine, bring it to the Caton, go get a toner cartridge, bring it to the Caton copy machine, and go get a waste toner cartridge and go bring it to the copy machine. Now, mind you, this is just a proof of concept, but the proof of concept proves that we can train the brain of this robot to recognize the item and then get it and then pick it up and deliver it to the Caton copy machine. In addition, Kevin's helped with training the brain of the chip in the robot, the AI LLM, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yep. So we fed in a couple of service manuals for the Caton device. So then we're going to query the Crickets, and we're going to ask some service-related questions to Crickets to provide us with answers. As we all know, over the years, copy machines always break. It seems inevitable, but Crickets is going to help us out. We're going to ask Crickets, okay, I have a code 222 on my copy machine. What's wrong? Crickets will respond. We're then going to ask Crickets, is this something I can repair, or do we need to put a service ticket in? Crickets will then respond, and then Crickets will we're going to respond with, well, let's put a service ticket in for the copy machine, and Crickets will give us a response to enter the service ticket.
Wow.
So,
wow.
yeah, so the demo should be, we're just hoping Crickets doesn't fall over, right?
Well, yeah, that's always a possibility.
But as you know, in the world of demonstrations, anything could go wrong.
Anything goes wrong, and when it does, the response is, "I'm glad that happened. Let me
Yeah,
show
we're
you
glad that
how
happened. Yeah, I'll be
we
so
can
glad that
recover."
happened.
Oh, I'm really glad
Yeah.
that happened. I can show you how we can tip the thing back over, stuff like that. Well, that sounds very cool, and so it is a proof of concept, right? So that in itself is conceptual, but there's a deliverable, right? It's a real world thingamajigger that's
Correct.
happening,
So
and it can even do more than that, I guess, but not now, right?
not now.
So
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. So the deliverable for the copy machine industry
Mm-hmm.
is this shows copy machine dealers that they can get into robotics with a minimum investment.
Yeah.
Our investment here was $2,500, and we're going to have it do certain things, and we're going to train the brain. Starting a small robotics program, and it doesn't have to be what we have here with the Crickets from High Wonder. It can maybe be something else a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit more extravagant. But dealers are going to be able to train the brain in their own office environment to go get a staple cartridge. Go greet somebody who's coming in the door. Go grab a cup of coffee. Go have a conversation with that person. At night, it could turn into the security guard in the office. But dealers, they can start out small and they can develop their IP. They can own their IP. But we're feeling that dealers who get involved in robotics now can get better talent to their organization in the form of service technicians. One of the biggest problems our industry finds today is that techs are aging out. Techs don't want to become copier technicians because there's not much of a great path forward for them. And we feel dealers who get involved in robotics, even on a small pace like this, they can attract better talent to their dealership because we all know that robotics and humanoids and ARMs are going to be the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. It's an excellent value prop. And so, but I want to spin over to here because those are great. Now, Dion, you've got one here, but your application, in addition to what we just talked about, is a little bit different and it's more HR oriented, correct? I mean, explain that and thumbnail that out for us.
Yes, thanks for the question, Greg. It's my thinking behind Ava, as we call her, was basically to add value to crickets as well, because you can onboard it onto one robot, for instance. But you need to onboard staff, and you need to give them induction, and you need to take them through policies and procedures of your company, and safe and healthy, for instance, and they need to write exams, and they need to get a certificate when they pass, of course. And the system should be updated all the time so that your staff stays compliant with all your regulations and legislation, for instance. And that's where I saw the opportunity. And Dan joined us here right behind me now. He's instrumental in developing Ava, and just a little bit of
Okay. And for clarification,
this
the
morning.
The Ava is the name of an HR functionality. Is that
That's
correct? Am I
correct.
being
It's
correct?
Android's
Okay.
intelligence verification agent. That's
Oh,
basically what it is.
okay.
So this morning we had breakfast together, and this lady who served us for breakfast, she started our conversation here behind me, and I said to Dan, here's a human Ava. Uh, she sounded exactly like Ava.
Oh, really?
But taking
Wow.
it further, it's if you take the onboarding side, and we had a lot of discussion around onboarding this morning already. If you need to onboard 800 seasonal workers or temporary workers, it basically in today's age, we talk about 3 hours per employee.
Mhm.
So times 3 hours per employee, and it's 800, and we can basically reduce it to 3 minutes per person per employee. But it goes a little bit further. I'm from South Africa, as everybody knows by now, and we've got 12 official languages. So it means that you basically need to have 12 individuals onboarding staff in different languages, whereby Ava, through a robot or a kiosk, can basically onboard those people in their own language and address them in their own language. Just take it for yourself. If you are being addressed in your own language, you maybe understand better and you execute better than being English, or I'm trying to teach you in Afrikaans or whatever the case might be.
Mhm.
And then it also goes a little bit further. It's not all of us are basically intellectuals. So the robot will do a lot of the intellectual side for us instead of we trying to do it on a constant and daily basis. And then, of course, it's taking the repetitive work out of the way, and you can most probably focus on more upskilled stuff when onboarding people with a piece of paper. So eventually, we will create a QR code. The QR code will be scanned. The person will be identified via the robot taking a photo. And from there onwards, the robot will basically know who you are. The robot will check you in, check you out, clock you in, clock you out, and determine your time of work. So yeah, that's basically what we are trying to do. I've got another 52 points for Dan. So I suppose Ava will grow as we go along, but Ava is not. It's not a standalone system on its own. Like I mentioned earlier, it can also integrate with Twina and crickets and the rest, which we think we are going to develop in the future. So you get a one source for your whole business. If you take all the dealerships, I'm not from America, but I understand there's a lot of dealerships here, and each dealership have human resources and HR policies and procedures. So everybody will need the system. And it's not only applicable to South Africa and America, it's applicable to the whole world. You just need to feed in all the information into the LLM and teach the system to address you in all the different languages of the world. So the future of Ava and the future of cricket, I think it's incredible, and I think there's a big opportunity. But 6 months, 6 weeks, we need to move to 6 days because it's moving very fast.
Excellent. Thank you. So just to summarize, not even though we have a proof of concept that will walk around or will move around, pick up items, deliver those items autonomously, and be able to answer or intake HR specifically for you, Dion. But all of this is a deliverable that is on our platforms right now. Again, proof of concept. So it's not production, but it proves that it can be done. And now all it really needs to do is scale up. And just by what you just said, it ends up being not customized, but personalized for whichever vertical or application or company or person who's using it, right? So like you just said, Ava will evolve, right? So will the crickets as it takes on different service manuals from different vendors, whatever it may be. But the foundation is there. This is a significant platform right now in a POC. It's off the whiteboard and on a green robot that's walking around in Tampa. I mean, that is a significant that's a big move, right? And we're not going to toot our own horn here, but I haven't seen this anywhere else, right? No, everything is so verticalized out there in the industry, which is normal. But right now we've got a horizontal and a vertical. So it's very good. An excellent job, Dan, and everyone and all that stuff. I mean, it's cool. It's science
just to
fiction.
end off from my side, if you take Ava and the development time of Ava, for instance, I'm not talking about the others because I'm not familiar with them. But if I had to get a programmer in, a real programmer, to write code and pages and pages and pages of code, which will take days and weeks and months, then if you take what Dan did with Ava in a short period of space, then this is actually the way to go. Programmers will have a role to play, but the Geminis of the world and the chat GPTs, etc., that's the way to go because you can change the code and you can change the front end. I'm not talking about the back end. I'm talking about the front end. You can change it on the move. You don't have to go and sit in front of a computer. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually do the changes on your cell phone. If I'm not mistaken, Dan, you can answer that one.
Yeah, absolutely. That depending on the platform, but like this morning, we noticed some things were out of whack on the button lineup, so changed a few things there to adjust for that. So that's that rapid deployment, rapid development. But the key thing being able to take the content of the various different industries or organizations, and as you said, personalize that content for that organization very, very rapidly by ingesting their policies and procedures and making the content relevant to them.
Yep, that's it. That is it. And I mean, even to speak broader, bigger terms, this is what's happening. This is the AI and the embodied AI revolution, the wave, the thing. It isn't in one vertical, it's in all of them. It isn't a horizontal, it shrinks and brings down all the horizontals. And what I'm seeing, I think a lot of other folks are seeing it now, is the big centralized hierarchy applications, the SaaS, right? The heavy programming development programs for the last 2 or 3 decades are understanding that. I mean, just look at what you did, Dan, in 6 months, and what Dion just said. That's a staff of 50 working months, right? Years, just 2 or 3 years ago, right? That's the talent you would need. You would need C++. You would need all these guys to be able to program this and go through and go through. You don't need that anymore. So the big systems that are out there, and you've also mentioned it because it's personalized for each individual. SaaS, CRMs, they're not personalized. They're cookie cutter because they're all things to all people. Even though you don't need 80% of what, and I'm going to pick on them, Salesforce sells you, or 80% of what HubSpot uses. You don't need that. You need that 5% of, I need a spreadsheet that adds up and does columns and does all that other stuff. I don't need regression or anything. So instead of buying a system that's capable of putting a man on the moon, I just need to get from A to B from here to the 7-Eleven. So what's happening is the whole world is crunching down. Go ahead.
To that point, Greg, and a tie in really back to Twain and why we're here is the capture. It's really the capture of that content. And most companies have a huge investment in their PDF manuals. They've done a great job of making these great manuals available. But who has time to read a 100-page manual today to figure out how to fix a scanner, fix a
Don't
printer,
even need to do it either. Yeah.
So being able to take that content and rapidly ingest it and make that available for the AI agents as well as the robotics to bring that into the physical world is really kind of the key. So
that's the jump. Yeah. What do you got there, Kevin?
So we got another kind of robot here. He represents, or it represents a humanoid. So it's just again, a little kit, but it can move and it can walk and talk, but to Dan's point, it could take pictures and videos from the camera here.
Mm-hmm.
And he's called CertBot. So he certifies content that he creates. So it's got a couple technologies that we've integrated. Identity management, so it can detect art and do whatever art authorizes him to do. Maybe go pick up my confidential document from the printer. Or he can send images and stamp it with C2PA, which is content provenance and authenticity. So the images and the videos he takes, there's basically a recipe or a manifest file with that piece of content, and it says it came from this source.
Okay.
So it's not deep fake images and stuff. And the third technology that's integrated into this is blockchain. So anytime a transaction happens, it's logged on the blockchain so that you can validate and do audits and reports. So this is basically a security robot, and there's a bunch of technology on this thing that can be integrated into the other robots or the other applications. So this is the purpose of CertBot.
Wow. Seriously, like we're talking about other integration, but what do you got in there? You've got servo motors, you've got visual recognition, you've got authentication, and then you've got blockchain, right? I mean, that is all in there. Twain, that you guys did that. See, this is more than revolutionary, right? Just think 10 years ago, no one would have even thought about it. 5 years ago. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? So what you just said is that did facial recognition and would only respond to art because it recognizes art.
Yeah,
and that's all verified through the blockchain. That's all.
Exactly. Now, Greg, I'll just say, I got to brag on Dan and Dion for the use case that they came up with Ava, because the original intent of coming to this show was a very simple prototype.
Yeah.
Just move around. But what Dan's done is integrated on-premise robots and servers to cloud services and to other robots and other LLMs. So like this is a production application they can probably sell today, right?
Mhm.
I couldn't
Yeah.
even imagine that a couple months ago that no way, that's way too unrealistic. But they've coded it, and to Dion's point, we didn't need to know hardcore Python or PHP or any kind of programming language, right? So the scale that this platform can do to different, like you said, you could verticalize it, you can horizontalize it, but it's got a lot of potential to do a lot of different things and solve problems instead of, like you said, instead of monolithic technology stacks, that you get servers and it takes 2 years and it takes $500,000. Those days are gone, right?
Yeah.
It's this rapid development and agile development can give their customers exactly what they want in a short amount of time and even less expensive. And that's
Yeah.
the promise of the future.
That's a great value prop right there. And it's true. That's another thing. It's not being inauthentic, or it's not a sales sales position or sales value prop. Which now let me, just, we didn't plan this, but if you look at what we're doing on the Cricket side, right, which is a basic business model of bringing robots to the channel and the channel of robots, right? That's what we're doing. We're helping dealers move into how to sell robots in lieu of or with copiers. That's a broad statement, but that's where it is. But you marry this with it, and now we've got a super duper, highly unique and marketable value prop that again, we look left and right. There's no one next to us. We are way out there, but this stuff can lead businesses to better legacies. Can I'm not gonna say this, but it can actually save businesses that couldn't have even been envisioned 36 months ago. There's, I mean, you look at a $4 or $5 million, $10 million dealership. They're worried about hitting payroll next month, right? So switching lines, they're worried about, well, should we do toner from this guy? Should we do toner from that guy? And these are business decisions that impact people's lives. So if we can bring something that is extremely powerful at an enterprise level to this channel, to that segment of the channel, we impact real lives. We save businesses. We keep payrolls going, and the investment isn't that much. And I can tell you darn sure that the big guys don't want to do that. They don't want to bring that down to that market. They want to keep it up in their 5 and 3% of the enterprise accounts in the world. That's not going to happen. The genie's out of the bottle. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because I could philosophize for hours. But great job. I mean, it's impressive, guys. That's cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Hey, Greg, we've got a few people on board. I guess we'll open it up, ask if anybody's got any questions. Just that, turn your mic off and chime in.
Any questions at all?
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Very well.
We're doing well, thank you.
Good. I have a couple of questions. So how does the robot handle integration between on-premise servers and cloud servers in real time?
I think that's where the back end kind of plays a key role here. So we've got a number of things running in the cloud that are running as orchestration services. So not only the devices themselves, so for all intents and purposes, the robotics are just another endpoint for the orchestrator to talk to, whether that server's on-prem or in the cloud, it really doesn't matter. It's just going to be an endpoint like the various different endpoints like Ava, as Dion mentioned, as an endpoint that we can communicate with. That might be deployed on a robot, that might be deployed at a kiosk, it might be on a phone. But then also having the back and forth, it's basically WebSocket's ability to communicate, send commands in natural language based on that robot operating system that Kevin mentioned, to be able to say things like, go get the toner from the supply closet, and having that translate to the appropriate commands to the robot to go and carry out that task. So there's a lot of concern about on-prem versus cloud, but I think for the most part it's been addressed with the architecture.
And Brandy, that's a good question. Just to add some color to what Dan's saying. So Twain is one of the communication standardizations that I'm advocating for the Twain Working Group. But Dan's using additional standards like there's something called web sockets that can communicate with an on-premise endpoint that he's talking about to cloud services. So using web sockets, which is a standard thing. Then also, I don't know if you mentioned
Yeah, I was
MCP.
going to say MCP servers as well. So as part of this, another agent that we have in play is actually Flow, and she's part of Flow Hub, which is a document scanning application built on the Twain standards. And then what makes that kind of unique is the ability to connect to really any scanner, whether it's Twain Direct or Twain Classic via USB. But what makes that possible is some local side code if it's USB, but up in the cloud, talking to what's called an MCP server, which was first proposed about a year ago by Anthropic. And it's now become a very prevalent way for kind of taking application program interfaces, APIs, and taking them up a notch to make basically things be as pluggable as USB-C connections. So if I've got a payment option I need to connect to Stripe, then I should be able to plug in the Stripe USB connector to make that work. And so that's kind of in essence what the MCP server is doing, coupling in conjunction with the orchestration server to coordinate those efforts between physical robotics, AI agents, and even the Cadence device itself, the MFP, because they're all communicating in the same language, open standards.
I mean, there's technology behind it. It's not magic.
We dog too.
So I have one more question, then I'll let you be. So one of the things I specialize in is helping small businesses because they are, in my opinion, probably the most abused of all the business models. The big guys don't want to mess with them because there's not enough revenue there. They call them low-hanging fruit, and they're not willing to get down on their knees and pick the apples up off the ground. I am. And that is one of the things that I really, really have a lot of trust that hopefully someday it'll help them. One of the places I see them struggling right now are how this kind of technology can help small businesses and help them stay competitive against the enterprise giants. They're not looking to take over the world. Small businesses very much are now focused on trying to keep their employees on board, but also balance that with making sure that they can keep up with technology and they're able to work. And they're starting to realize that with AI storming in, how can we adopt that? How quick can we adopt that? And what's it now going to cost us to have that employee or those two employees that are integral to our business adopt that? So what would you say about that?
Well,
Good question for
Brandy, I
Art.
might give you an example over the weekend. I actually went and got my oil changed over the weekend. And while I was there, they handed me a paper form to fill out my name and telephone number, email address, etc. And as a scanner guy and tech guy, I looked at the the rep that was helping me and I said, hey, there's better ways to do this, guys. And we started chatting. And lo and behold, within the span of a few minutes, it turns out this gentleman was very interested in how to make that process better for his customer. The oil change itself was terrific. I didn't have to leave the car, came right up to the window. But the process of capturing my information and facilitating that transaction had opportunities for improvement. And so speaking with the gentleman, I actually took a copy of his form, scanned it, and in the span of an afternoon built a prototype that also has a similar type of voice activated agent in play. And her name is Gracie because it's greasy in a oil change. So her name's Gracie, and she's designed to be a hands-free agent to help that facilitate that interaction with the customer. And so that's kind of an example of how rapidly and quickly you can take a person's content or an organization's content and make it relevant to them. Not to minimize the effort in doing that, because there is some skill sets, I guess, involved in doing that. But the technology is certainly there to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's just one customer over the weekend, right? You've done that a couple times with other small businesses.
Yep. And
Right.
so I
guys,
agree,
let
Brandy,
me answer that
small
question for
businesses,
Brandy.
raise
Let me answer that question as well. Thanks, Dan, for the.
Yep.
So, Brandy, as you can see, we've got two diverse approaches here. One's a technical approach. Art and I are examples of a small business that has been improved by using AI. And when we look at small businesses, there's three things: increase revenue, decrease costs, right? And grow profits. That's what these guys want to do, whether you're selling. And again, but also we're in the B2B world. The B2C is something that isn't really our focus. We've grown up and, got bloody noses and everything in the B2B small business market, right? And we understand that drives the business. So back to your original question is, how does a small business take advantage of this, right? With a low cost and actually see some return on it. In every organization, the most impactful is the sales side of the business. And everyone sells. I don't care who you are, but if someone doesn't sell the thing that you make, the lights don't come on. Period. All right. So how can we help your sales team maximize their position within the market, against the competition, against what they've learned before, and everything? And how can we do that? Art is a perfect example. And forgive me, Art, I'm going to tell the story. But 24 months ago, I don't even remember, but a while back, it could have been the third quarter and he was behind quota, right? We're behind quota. Art has been to every president's club in the last 350 years. So he's always
At
been
least.
selling, right? And making the people he works for money. Okay. So he wakes up and says, I'm behind quota. I'm not going to make it this year. And it's the third quarter. Enter in, and this, there was no master plan. There was no, hey, I got this idea. It was like, we're just talking about this LLM thing called OpenAI. Art started to go into it, learned about the market, pushed the OpenAI into, hey, can you tell me what kind of contacts out there in my geographic region would be a good prospect for me if I'm looking for prospects that A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Boom, list came up. Again, are they real companies? Yes. Do they have real phone numbers? Yes. Art went at it that way, learned about a whole new vertical, okay, based on his interactions with ChatGPT. I'm used to selling this widget. I need to do widget times 2, but that market's different. How do I approach those guys? What are their business needs? What are their business challenges that are different? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, and by the way, where are these leads at? Okay. Well, hey, this sounds interesting. Can you do a deep dive? Give me a corporate profile on that particular prospect. So the research side just goes through the roof. And then that is how we ended up building Celeste.
Yeah.
Celeste is a one-on-one, the last sales trainer anyone has to work with, because we've trained her brain on Gap, name it, whatever sales quote unquote program that's out there, and the publicly available information is in that brain. We're not, freaking propeller head geniuses here. We just know what we would ask and what works. Same with the small business, right? You got to go out there and communicate with them. All right, what are your challenges? It's classic business needs. That hasn't changed. But one mistake a lot of the consultants do is they try and fit existing processes, right? Or they take existing processes and shove AI in there. And you've seen it. Salesforce, Microsoft, they're all doing it. It's the other way around. You got to put your processes inside AI. That's the big key. So anyway, that's how Art and I approach it.
That last sentence actually really put the nail right in the coffin, because that's what I see happening all the time, where everybody's trying to take, instead of, in the old days, people went out and they found a hole and they found a way to fill it and they became successful.
Yep.
Now what they're trying to do is they're going, listen, small business, I'm the big guy here now. And I'm telling you, I don't want to fit in your business. I want you to fit in my business. And that's what I'm hearing from my clients, is that they're hearing about technologies. They're trying to get them integrated into their small businesses. I have a nonprofit right now that's really struggling with technology right now because of AI, and I'm trying to help them through it. And so I don't think that that's the sole case there. And so what I would love to see is, I would love to see people who are trying to do it that way, where they're going, okay, here's the technology we have. Here is the pain that the client has. How can we make these two meet in the middle? And I think when you do that, I think it opens up a whole new networking of how your product can integrate with what they're doing, but also make what they're doing integrate with your product. It just opens both ends. So I appreciate that line of thinking. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No worries. We appreciate the
Yeah, thanks for the input.
the question. So believe
Wow.
it or not, that quickly we filled almost an hour's worth of time for the show when I thought we were going to go maybe 30 minutes. So good job to everyone. Want to thank Greg for being a moderator here and getting us moving on technology. Dan back there in the glasses, always appreciate your input. Kevin right behind me, our resident propeller head number 2, number 1.
That's the man.
Dion over here to my left make this long trip from South Africa, and we really enjoy him being here. And with that, we're going to close today's show. We want to thank everybody for coming on, especially Amir. I see Amir's on.
Hey, cool.
Want to welcome Amir for tuning in, and Amir's all the way from Pakistan. So thanks for joining in, Amir. Brandy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brandon.
Please like, follow, and share, and we'll see you all on next week's show. Thanks, everyone.
Good job, Art. Way to go, Art.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes.
See you guys.